Hello and welcome to Back to the Future Part 21. My Let's Play continues with my controls kind of getting all buggered up. Don't quite understand what's going on, but anyway, let's click the front door.
Attention, citizens! This domicile is in violation of...
Martin, I can't work with all that ruckus.
Oh, sorry, there's actually another cutscene that played. I kind of clicked on it before recording, so apologies if you want to see it, but it wasn't really that important. It was edited.
Effective against moths, mosquitoes, and tannins.
Yeah, I just don't know what's wrong with my controls today, but anyway, I'm going to talk to Squawk Box for
What's the
George.
problem, citizen?
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine now. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, no response. Anyway, let's talk to George.
Less than 1,000 demerits, am I right?
Hey, what's my guitar doing out here?
Your mother and I convinced you to give it up, remember? Rock and roll music is frowned on by the Brown administration. It sets a poor example for all the kids who look up to you as a model of studiousness and moral gravity. And besides, you're not very good.
Come on, Dad. I need that guitar.
Give me one good reason why I should give it back to you.
Because... music is good for you. It improves your mental performance.
Then take up the piccolo. Leave the electric guitar to the rebels and malcontents.
A certain girl is only gonna like me if I can play the guitar.
A certain girl? You don't mean...
Jennifer.
Oh, Martin. Why are you fixated on that little hellion? She's nothing but trouble.
Yeah, my kind of trouble.
And besides, the way you play guitar, you're only gonna drive her further Go ahead, son. Do your worst.
Thanks, Dad.
Okay, so that
Hey, demerit.
sorted that out.
Hey, what for? Insufficiently polished shoes. Good day, citizen.
Oh, it's recording. I don't want to mess up Dad's work. Oh, it's recording.
Okay.
I don't want to mess up Dad's work.
Alright. So
Good morning, Mrs. Brown. Please address me as Mrs. Citizen Brown. I'm sorry, Mrs. Citizen Brown. It's just a thing. I worked so hard to get that title.
Okay, I think I got the rough idea. Let's talk to George.
Oh, it's recording. I don't want to mess up Dad's work.
Sorry, I was clicking the exit button. Talk to George.
I saw Mom downtown. She told me to give this to you.
Thanks.
Say, what gives around here?
Ah, you know, the usual. Keeping tabs on Hill Valley through my trusty bank of monitors. Always on the lookout for some interesting footage.
Interesting. What do you mean, interesting?
What kind of silly question is that? I've been gathering candid documentary footage for Citizen Brown's promotional videos for over a year now. I know your mother doesn't approve of my work, but wait a minute. You say you saw Lorraine? 11 to 12 hair salon, 12 to 12:20 lunch at soup mo counter, cream of asparagus with crackers.
What was that?
You know your mother's problems. If she slips up again, it could mean demerits for the whole family. There she is, polishing the statue in the park. Just like the schedule dictates. Oh, then everything's fine. Good. Unless... How was she when you spoke to her? Lucid? Sober?
Whoa, Dad, what are you telling me? Are you saying Mom's a drunk?
Shh. I don't know for sure that your mother has relapsed into her old ways, but she's been acting very odd lately, almost as if she didn't like my constant supervision. Confidentially, I suspect she's got a flask hidden somewhere, probably very near the spot where she's working right now. Do me a favor, son, will you? See if you can worm the truth out of her. She won't confide in me, but she may be less guarded with you. Double rations this week if you help your old man out. What do you say? That's a good boy.
Okay, Dad, we need to talk. It's about me.
I'm all ears.
Well, from certain things I've heard, I get the idea that people in this town regard Marty McFly as a
what?
a nerd.
They said that?
In so many words.
Just because a boy studies hard and gets straight A's and respects the rules and doesn't party or drink or stay out late and is perhaps a bit socially inept and obsessed with personal hygiene and prefers his rubber band collection
Stop!
to...
I really don't want to hear anymore.
I'm proud of you, son.
Is there anywhere you expect me to be, like, right now?
Well, I did expect you to be up at the lake until tomorrow with that math-and-magic competition, so I guess your time is pretty much your own right now.
I'm trying to understand why Jennifer broke up with me in this time, recent past.
Are you still mooning over that girl? Forget her! She's bad news. Why, my surveillance cameras have caught her doing things that are completely against the Hill Valley Code.
I don't want to know.
Kissing boys. Sitting with boys in cars. I've kept quiet about it for her father's sake, but believe me, you're well rid of her.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
another long
different
conversation.
subject.
Yeah?
What were you hiding when I came in just now?
Hiding? I don't know what you're talking about, son.
Come on, I saw it. It was a videotape, right?
I might as well tell you. After all, you'll be 18 soon.
Tell me what?
Hill Valley under Citizen Brown is not quite the contented town you were led to believe it was.
No way.
This isn't a criticism of the great man himself, of course, or his sainted wife, Edna. No one's worked harder than they to apply the most advanced social planning techniques to our municipality. But,
What?
confidentially, not everybody appreciates it. A great many citizens, perhaps even the majority, actively resent the Brown administration. They don't say so publicly, of course. But in private, well, just listen.
I tell you, Bert, this regime is a joke. They're all laughing at us over in Fairfax.
A toast to Citizen Brown. May his beloved courthouse be struck by lightning. Shh, Agnes, you're awful. Are you coming to the town square, Lester? Citizen Brown's about to give another speech.
Citizen Brown can kiss my hairy...
Well, you get the idea.
It sounds like people can't stand what the Browns have done to Hill Valley.
Not everyone. Only around 50%, maybe 60.
Does Citizen Brown know?
He should. Whenever I send copies of my raw footage to the Public Relations Department over at the courthouse, I get a memo telling me how much Citizen Brown thanks me for my service. But how could he see those videos and not do anything about it?
Maybe you should take your tapes directly to Brown.
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, sure, he might appreciate my bringing these problems to his attention and reward me for my public service, but then again, they say it's never wise to be the bearer of bad news.
Why don't you give me those videotapes? I'll take them to Citizen Brown.
Thanks for offering, son, but I don't want to get you involved. Citizen Brown won't like what he sees on them, and I wouldn't want you to get the brunt of his displeasure, not to mention the displeasure of all the folks on the tapes. Once they find out I recorded them, no, I'm not letting these tapes out of my sight. It's too dangerous.
Alright, we'll have to sneak the tapes out of him. Let's talk about him.
So about you and your, work.
Shoot.
You're supposed to be... I mean, wouldn't you rather spend your time writing, say, science fiction novels?
Science fiction. I did mess around with it once, but that was before Citizen Brown made it illegal.
Science fiction's illegal?
Sci-fi promotes an unhealthy obsession with the fantastic and impossible, and it encourages the idea that there might be better societies than Hill Valley, which is subversive nonsense, of course.
You seem to be really into this spying business.
It's not spying, son. It's cinema verite. These candid moments of Hill Valley's residents will eventually be compiled and edited into the documentaries and promotional materials that advertise our way of life to the rest of the world. True, you can argue that I've taken things to extremes, but I still get up to take my meals, and of course to use the facilities.
Yeah, that's that then.
Okay, different subject.
Yeah?
It's about Mom. She's thinking about signing up for the Citizen Plus program.
Is she now?
You're not gonna let her go through with it, are you?
Well, from what I hear, it's a fairly drastic procedure which completely reshapes the subject's personality. On the other hand, if Citizen Brown recommends it, it's gotta be a good thing.
How'd she get to be such a mess? This isn't how she is in my perfect world.
You're right, it's a real puzzle. Because of course we both know Hill Valley is a perfect world, but for some peculiar reason, the harder I try to get her to conform to the rules, the more she slips up.
Don't you think Mom would be a little more relaxed if you gave her just a little bit of space?
Now, there's a fine suggestion. What would Hill Valley be like if people gave each other space? Why, we'd all be tempted to follow our own impulses, and there's no telling where that might lead. Something on your mind?
Hill Valley has a lot of rules.
It certainly does, for our own good.
Public kissing is illegal, right?
Ah, the old PDA law. Indeed it is. And what's more, violation carries a hefty load of demerits. But you know, it's a law people break with surprising regularity. Why, I could show you videotaped evidence.
How exactly do people get other people to break it?
On second thought, perhaps I shouldn't show you the videotaped evidence.
Okay, so there's another clue. We need to obviously find someone to have a kiss with, but anyway.
If I got caught with a contraband item, I'd get in a lot of trouble, right?
You certainly would. You could be facing up to 1,000 demerits, depending on the item. But of course, you wouldn't be caught dead with anything illegal. It's your mother I'm worried about.
Okay, so yeah, I'm starting to get the general gist of it, but with this game,
Did you ever
it's
harbor a dangerous animal?
Aha! Couldn't if I wanted to. They've all been banned. But I did catch something very interesting on one of my monitors yesterday. Which one was it? Oh, yes! Does that look like a stray dog to you? Whatever it is, Edna's Animal Patrol will make short work of it.
yeah. So I'm getting the gist of it. We need to get a kiss, and we need to get a drink, and we need to get a dog. So that will help us get towards Citizen Brown quicker.
Something on your mind?
It's about someone we both know.
Yes?
What can you tell me about Edna?
Mrs. Citizen Brown? Oh, she's a wonderful woman. People just think of her as this sweet, self-effacing grandmotherly type.
Edna? Are we talking about the
But
same?
really, she's just as involved in running the town as her husband is.
David and Linda.
Have you heard from them?
No, I thought maybe you had.
Not in ages. As far as I know, he's still working for the big city newspaper, and she's still in that women's boarding house. I'll never understand why they decided to leave Hill Valley.
Hello. Hi. Everything alright? Sorry for the interruption. Let's keep going.
Have you seen Biff lately?
Not since he went to the reconditioning center. Is he back among the living?
Depends on what you mean by living. He's really different from the way I remember him.
Lucky dog. In a way, it isn't fair that Hill Valley's biggest scofflaw should be the first to receive the benefits of the new Citizens Plus program. But I know I shouldn't be jealous.
Have you ever spent time with Citizen Brown?
Well, of course I'm in the audience for every one of his public addresses.
One-on-one, I mean.
Oh, no. He'd never notice a common Sector L citizen like me. But I dream that someday he'll recognize me for my public service and maybe let me shake his hand. Something on your mind?
What's the deal with the house, Dad?
I don't know how to tell you this, son, but while you were away at your Mathemagic competition, our house got slapped with a CZ36 violation.
What?
I know, it's so embarrassing. Your mother's mortified. She works so hard to keep a clean house, but those dust mites are so hard to keep down.
Wait a minute, we can't go into the house because of dust mites?
Well, not until they send in the cleanup crew.
This is ridiculous.
Thank goodness they let me move my office out here into the garage.
So, when is this dust mite problem gonna be solved so I can get to all my stuff?
Well, the cleanup crew said they'd probably get around to it by tonight, but they're kind of backed up, so I wouldn't expect them until tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow? Where am I supposed to sleep?
I got it all covered, son. We're gonna camp out back just like we did when you were little.
Okay, this timeline is officially a nightmare.
Is there something else about this I need
Hill
to...
Valley has a lot of rules.
It certainly does, for our own good.
No. Okay, it's the same as before.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
different subject.
Yeah?
How do these monitors work?
How exactly does this setup work?
I'm glad to see you taking an interest. Each of these monitors is connected to multiple cameras, of which I've strategically jacked into throughout the valley, with official clearance, of course. I can switch between cameras with these buttons. There's also a VCR for each monitor. I keep a record of everything I see, so if I happen across something intriguing, I can keep it on file.
Okay, that's the conversation over.
Well, I'll leave you to your snooping.
Supervising, son, supervising.
I'll leave you to it.
Right.
Hey, demerit. Hey, what for? Insufficiently polished shoes. Good day, citizen.
Yeah, it's time to break the rules. Booyah. Computer.
Nice. We didn't have a computer in the other timeline. Well, no joystick. That's lame. Greetings, programs. LeBrock 2.0. Anatomical constructs for sciences of all sorts. Boring.
Good morning, Mrs. Brown. Please address me as Mrs. Citizen Brown. I'm sorry, Mrs. Citizen Brown. It's just a thing. I work so hard to...
So I need to use the golf cart. Get back into town, I suppose. There it is. So we're back in the town square and we need to break some rules.
Mom? I'm having a bad day, Mom. Can I ask you a few things?
We all have our share, son.
I, lost my timesheet. What have I got going on this week?
Well, Monday is Junior Brown Brigade.
Junior what now?
And Tuesday is Model UN.
Model UN.
Mm-hmm. You represent Djibouti. On Wednesday, you'll be overseeing the board game club at the rec center.
Okay, I've heard enough.
Imagine if Marty had to play as Djibouti in Football Manager, he'd probably have a nightmare. You know, poor old Djibouti need a better team in the future, but they're not that bad, I suppose.
I saw Jennifer earlier today.
Oh, Jennifer. What a spunky gal. Are you two patching things up?
She totally blew me off.
Well, I'm not the world's biggest dating expert, seeing as how I married the first guy to fall from the sky. But maybe you should spend a little less time with your microscopes and ant farms, and a little more time tending to her needs. What kind of things is she passionate about, Martin? What are her interests?
I don't even know anymore.
You see?
Everyone is treating me like some sort of goody two-shoes, Mom.
They're just jealous that you're such a perfect citizen of Hill Valley.
Have I always been this way?
Always been a perfect little son. Going on 18 years now.
What about that time I set fire to the living room?
Oh, but you only did that so you could show us the fire retardant you made with your chemistry set.
Heavy. All right, let's talk about something else.
Alrighty, dear.
Mom, are you drinking again?
Don't be silly, dear. Booze is illegal, you know.
Yeah, Mom. It's just that Dad mentioned...
Your father. Why, I just can't get away from his prying eyes. Always spying, always watching. You mind your own business, George.
Now, Lorraine, this is for your own good. I know you're keeping a secret from me.
It's mine to keep.
Dad! Mom! Knock it off, you two!
Now, you listen here, young man. This is an adult matter between your mother and me.
Dad, I know, but your way isn't working. You gotta give her some space here.
Huh? Where'd she go?
Mom?
Aha! I knew it. What is that in your hand? Rum? Gin? A wine cooler?
For your information, it's brass cleaner. I have a job to do here, you know.
Lorraine.
No.
Lorraine, I'm just trying to look out for you. You know the kind of trouble we can get into if you're drinking again.
George, I wouldn't be so on edge if you weren't suffocating me all the time.
Was that an admission?
An admission of how smothered I am by you.
Okay. We need to continue the conversation.
Mom? What about you, Mom?
What about me?
What are you doing out here polishing the statue?
I know. I was scheduled to clean the clock this month, but then Needle's mom ate some of that bad tofu that's been going around. So there was some reshuffling in the L sector duty roster, and here I am. I kinda wish I was cleaning the clock, though. So much nicer up there without all the cameras.
The cameras?
Wave to Big Brother. Or Big Husband in this case.
I saw you talking to Biff about the Citizen Plus program.
Biff says I'd be a perfect candidate for it.
I know Biff, and if that's what the Citizen Plus program does to people, then you don't want any part of it.
But Biff has been reformed. Look at him. He seems so happy now. So at peace with this town. What I wouldn't give.
He's a total veg, Mom.
Your father is always telling me that I don't invest enough in the workings of our great Citizen Brown. Maybe it's time for me to turn a new leaf and just go with the flow.
Okay, just hold off for a bit, please. I don't want you doing anything rash.
Yeah, so when I mentioned the reference to Big Brother and all that, it's 1984, not 1986. I always get it confused, but anyway, George Orwell wrote a heck of a book. And
all right, let's talk about something else.
Alrighty, dear.
Yeah, anyway.
So, what's up with Dad?
Indeed. What is up with him?
That setup in his garage is pretty intense.
That's not the word I'd use. More like creepy.
I heard that.
I feel like I don't know anybody anymore.
Well, Martin, that could be a sign you need to get out more.
Is there any way I could talk to Citizen Brown?
Oh, you know how difficult that is, Martin. The great man spends so much time coming up with new rules and demerits that he barely has time to talk to us anymore. I guess that's the price we pay for a safe, happy city.
So he doesn't see anyone?
Not unless someone starts rolling up the demerits. He still takes a personal interest in those situations.
And
of course you could talk to Mrs. Brown.
Clara?
No, silly. Edna.
Edna Strickland?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought he knew. Anyway, never mind, that's just...
Wait, Doc, Citizen Brown is married to Edna Strickland?
Did you get a bump on the head or something? They've been happily married for nearly 40 years. In fact, if you ask me, I think Edna wears the pants in the relationship. She's the one always announcing the day-to-day bulletins. Probably writes them herself.
I need to sit down. Biff seems, unusually mellow.
Well, he should be. He just finished the Citizen Plus program. So far, it looks like it's done him a world of good.
You don't think he seems a bit off? I mean, he's so un-Biff.
Well, isn't that the point? You remember what he used to be like? He was an unholy terror.
He wasn't that bad.
Now, sure, but you should have seen him in high school.
I can imagine.
Yeah, indeed.
What do you think of Jennifer, Mom?
Well, she certainly looked like quite a handful, dear. I was really hoping some of her, joie de vivre would have rubbed off on you.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Martin, you can be a little uptight sometimes.
Jeez, don't sugarcoat it, Mom.
Well, maybe you needed to hear it. There's nothing wrong with having priorities in life. Just maybe Jennifer should have been a little higher on your list.
Yeah, she should.
Well, you did buy that guitar. That's a step in the right direction. Women love musicians. Just keep practicing and I'm sure you'll get better.
What are you talking about? I'm a great musician.
That's the spirit.
Jen's dad doesn't seem to like me very much.
He's just a little stressed out, dear. Filling the crime-stomping shoes of his legendary father makes poor Danny Jr. a little twitchy.
So I see.
But he gets the job done. Between him and his father, Hill Valley's been as dry as the Sahara Desert for decades now. Unfortunately.
Dry? Doc was right. We did overdo it. Alright, let's talk about something else.
Alrighty, dear.
Is it just me, or does Hill Valley feel really strict today?
Some might even call it stifling. But you didn't hear that from me.
Biff told me that he got in trouble for public displays of affection.
Can you believe it? Sure, things got a little out of control back in the 60s with the free love and all, but now even holding hands will get you a verbal warning.
Wait, so you can't even kiss?
Can't even hug. It's barbaric. City Hall treats us like a bunch of children going to the movies.
Biff was talking about all the contraband he used to keep. Do you know anything about that?
What are you implying, Martin?
I'm not implying anything. I just want to know what kind of contraband might still be around. You know, so I can watch out for it. Like a good citizen.
Well, I wouldn't know about such things. But people still smuggle alcohol in from the next county. I heard the kids at school have been smuggling Xerox copies of Dungeons and Dragons. I bet you'd be into something like that, huh?
I'll get back to you on that. Is it true that Biff was responsible for getting dogs outlawed?
I think that was all Edna's idea. She's always had a sore spot for dogs. Now your father and I, we love dogs.
You do? I didn't know that. How come we never had a dog?
We had meant to get one to teach you children about responsibility, but by the time we had you, dogs had already been banned. Now I don't think we'll ever have the chance to raise a puppy.
Jeez, Mom, that could be the saddest thing I've ever heard. Alright, let's talk about something else.
Alrighty, dear.
Yeah, I think we need to...
Mom, look, I'm on your side. If you've got a problem, I want to help, but this is a choice you gotta make yourself.
Oh, look at you. You're such a sweet boy. I'm so glad you take after me rather than your father.
What, Lorraine? What?
Ugh! I can't live like this!
Dad, you're not helping.
Oh, but I disagree, Martin. It's important that I catch her in the act so I can get it on tape. Once it's on tape, I can show her that she has a problem.
That's ridiculous, Dad. You're acting like this is some kind of sting operation.
Huh? Where'd she go?
Mom?
Aha! I knew it! There! What did you just hide? That was some sort of fruity liqueur!
It's a spray bottle of simple orange for the cleaning I'm trying to do!
Lorraine, I'm sorry. It's just that you're acting so cagey lately.
Cagey. Maybe I'm acting like I don't want to be spied on all the time.
It's not all the time, Lorraine. I do sleep occasionally, you know. What happened? What the heck am I looking at?
Yes.
Okay, that helps. So, around we go.
Mom, now that Dad isn't watching.
Oh, Martin.
Was that a flask, Mom?
Flask? Don't be ridiculous.
Look, it's okay, Mom. Get a hold of yourself.
Oh, your father's right. I'm backsliding. But it's been so hard, what with your brother and sister leaving, and then your father getting obsessed with his monitors, and
Let me take care of the flask. Dad doesn't have to know anything about it.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I couldn't bear the thought of facing your father over this.
So there it is.
This timeline sucks. Mom and Dad are fighting again. Mom's drinking. It's like everything Doc and I ever did to fix things is falling apart. Time to get some attention.
Hands up, citizen. Assume the position.
Here goes nothing.
There better be apple juice in this.
Why don't you open it and find out?
Don't get smart with me. I knew you were no good, McFly.
Officer Parker, what seems to be the problem here?
Citizen McFly, ma'am. Came strolling up with a 181B violation in his pocket.
Ugh! You, young citizen, where did you get that booze?
Nowhere?
Is he being smart with me?
Yeah, he played that attitude on me as well.
Could we just fast forward the lecture and just get this over with already?
No! Officer, demerit him severely. And as for the alcohol, drop it into the recycling bin.
With pleasure, ma'am. Now, keep your nose clean, or you'll find yourself in front of Citizen Brown.